Hardy Greaves, an elderly man with a lifelong passion for golf, finds himself on the brink of death after suffering his sixth heart attack, this time while on the golf course. As he lies on the green, the place he has always loved, memories flood back to him. Hardy's thoughts drift back to his childhood hero, a man who once symbolized everything great about golf and life itself, Ranulph Juneau. Ranulph Juneau was the golden boy of Savannah, Georgia. Born into a wealthy family, Juneau had everything a young man could dream of: good looks, charm, and an incredible talent for golf. His skill on the course made him a local legend, and his life seemed perfect. He had the love of Adele Invergordon, a stunning beauty from another of Savannah's most prominent families. Together, they were the talk of the town, a couple destined for greatness. But fate had other plans. When World War I broke out, Juneau enlisted in the U.S. Army and served as a captain. The horrors of the battlefield changed him forever. One fateful day, his entire company was wiped out in a brutal attack, leaving Juneau the sole survivor. Though he was awarded the Medal of Honor for his bravery, the trauma of war shattered him. Upon returning to Georgia, he was no longer the vibrant young man everyone remembered. Instead, he became a ghost of his former self, a broken, disillusioned, and alcoholic shadow who disappeared from society, leaving his old life and love behind. Years later, as the Great Depression took hold of the nation, Savannah was not spared from its grip. The once glorious Invergordon estate was crumbling under the weight of financial ruin. Adele, now burdened with the responsibility of salvaging her family's legacy, devised a plan. She decided to host a grand exhibition golf match at the resort her family had built just as the Depression struck, a resort that now teetered on the edge of bankruptcy. The match would feature the two greatest golfers of the era, Bobby Jones and Walter Hagen, and the grand prize was a staggering $10,000. Adele knew that to draw the local crowd she needed a hometown hero, a golfer who could reignite Savannah's pride. But who could fill that role? The answer came unexpectedly from a young boy who still believed in heroes: Hardy Greaves. Hardy suggested the name that had once made Savannah proud: Ranulph Juneau. Despite the years of absence, Hardy never lost faith in his childhood idol. His words sparked a flicker of hope in Adele. She sought out Juneau, her once great love, now a man she barely recognized, to ask him to play. When Adele found Juneau, he was a man adrift, living a solitary life, his spirit crushed by the memories of war and the bottle that had become his only solace. Initially, Juneau resisted Adele's plea. He believed he was no longer the man he once was, no longer capable of competing at the highest level. But Adele's determination, combined with Hardy's unwavering belief, planted a seed of doubt in his despair. Perhaps, just perhaps, there was a chance for redemption. That night, as Juneau stood alone on the golf course trying to hit balls into the darkness, something extraordinary happened. A mysterious traveler appeared out of the shadows, carrying a suitcase and a presence that seemed to transcend time and space. The man introduced himself as Bagger Vance and offered to be Juneau's caddy. Juneau, intrigued by the man's calm demeanor and strange wisdom, reluctantly accepted. Bagger Vance was no ordinary caddy. From the moment he took up Juneau's bag, it became clear that he was there for more than just golf. He was there to help Juneau confront his inner demons, to guide him back to the path he had lost, and to help him rediscover the game he once loved. The day of the exhibition match arrived, and the atmosphere at the Crew Island Golf Club was electric. Bobby Jones and Walter Hagen, two legends of the game, stood ready to compete. Juneau, however, was a man out of practice, his mind clouded by years of torment. The first round of the match was a disaster for him. While Jones and Hagen played with the skill and confidence that had made them famous, Juneau struggled to find his rhythm, barely making a dent on the scoreboard. As the first round ended, it seemed clear that Juneau was out of his depth, that his best days were long behind him. But Bagger Vance remained unfazed. He spoke to Juneau with a calm, knowing voice, encouraging him to let go of his doubts and to focus on finding his authentic swing, the pure, natural motion that every golfer possesses but few ever truly master. Bagger's words resonated with Juneau. In the second round, something began to change. Slowly but surely, Juneau started to shake off the rust, his swing becoming smoother, more confident. The crowd, which had written him off as a washed-up has-been, began to take notice. By the end of the second round, Juneau had made up some ground, his performance hinting at the brilliance he once displayed. The third round of the match saw Juneau come alive. With Bagger's guidance, he played with a focus and determination that even he had forgotten he possessed. Each stroke brought him closer to the man he used to be. His swings became more precise, his movements more fluid. Then, in a moment of sheer brilliance, Juneau hit a hole-in-one, a shot that brought the crowd to its feet and filled the air with cheers. Adele, watching from the sidelines, saw the man she had loved so deeply emerging from the shadows of his past. The spark between them, long buried under years of pain and separation, began to reignite. The rekindling of their romance paralleled Juna's return to form on the golf course, a sign that perhaps both of them could heal the wounds of the past and move forward together. As the final round began, Juna was in contention, standing toe-to-toe with Jones and Hagen. The entire town of Savannah watched with bated breath, hoping to see their hometown hero complete his comeback. But just as victory seemed within reach, Juna's confidence turned into overconfidence. Ignoring Bagger's advice at a crucial moment, he made a reckless shot that sent his ball deep into the forest. The isolation of the woods triggered a painful flashback to the war, where he had lost his comrades. For a moment, Juna was no longer on a golf course, but back on the battlefield, surrounded by death and despair. He froze, overwhelmed by the memories that had haunted him for years. But Bagger, ever the steady presence, found him and spoke words that cut through the fog of trauma. He reminded Juna that the game of golf, like life, was about the choices one makes and the integrity with which one faces challenges. Bagger's words brought Juna back to the present, grounding him in the reality of the moment. Juna managed to claw his way back into the match, and as they approached the final hole, the scores were tied. The tension was palpable. Juna had a chance to win, to complete his comeback in the most dramatic fashion, but as he prepared for his final putt, fate intervened. As Juna addressed his ball, he noticed it had moved slightly when he had attempted to remove a loose impediment. Though no one else had seen it, Juna knew what had happened. In that moment, he faced a moral dilemma. He could ignore the movement and take the shot, possibly winning the match, or he could call a penalty on himself and risk losing. For Juna, the choice was clear. He called the penalty, knowing that it might cost him the victory, but refusing to compromise his integrity. The crowd was stunned by his honesty, but those who truly understood the game of golf knew that this was the mark of a true sportsman. With the penalty applied, Juna's chance of winning seemed to slip away. But in the final act of the match, he lined up an improbable putt, and against all odds, sank the ball into the hole. The match ended in a three-way tie, a fitting conclusion for a game played with such skill, honor, and heart. As the match ended and the players shook hands, Bagger Vance knew his work was done. Juna had found his way back, not just as a golfer but as a man. Bagger quietly handed over the role of caddy to young Hardy Greaves, symbolizing the passing of wisdom from one generation to the next. Without a word, Bagger slipped away, disappearing as mysteriously as he had arrived. The town of Savannah celebrated not just the outcome of the match, but the return of their lost son. Juna and Adele, their love rekindled, looked to the future with hope. They had both been broken by the past, but together they had found the strength to heal. Years later, as Hardy Greaves lies on the golf course, his life slipping away, he sees a familiar figure in the distance. It is Bagger Vance, unchanged by time, standing on the green. Bagger beckons to Hardy, inviting him to join him for one last round. Hardy, smiling, gets up and follows. In that final moment, Hardy understands what Bagger had taught Juna all those years ago: that life, like golf, is not about winning or losing, but about how you play the game. It's about integrity, perseverance, and finding your authentic swing. As Hardy steps onto the green, he knows that his journey is complete. He follows Bagger Vance into the twilight, ready for whatever lies beyond. And that is it for this movie called The Legend of Bagger Vance. Let me know your review down in the comments, and I shall see you again in the next video. Until then, this is your host for Movie Recap signing off.